What a great day to be playing TSB, one of my favorite Battleground games. What makes a good Battlegrounds game? A few days ago, I released a video explaining why I believe Jujutsu Shenanigans was the best Battlegrounds game, and I quickly found out that thinking JJS was the best Battlegrounds game was quite an unpopular opinion. Many people questioned the smoothness and the fact that the game was rather janky, so they'd rather play a game with much cooler animations. So today, I'll go over the elements I believe makes a good Battlegrounds game, so that perhaps one day someone's gonna see it and make a Battlegrounds game considering these elements. I have no idea, but just saying it could happen. Oh well, sit back, relax, and feel free to subscribe. It's free and it makes my sanity decaying for these long-term vids all worth it. For a game to be considered a normal standard Battlegrounds game, I believe it should have these elements: a map to battle on, moves to battle with. Most games follow the standard 4 moves, a dash and side dash. Back dash is optional since a lot of games don't include one, and punches. A good Battleground game should also consider adding a ranked feature, which I'm still waiting for Cursed Arena to add, and other privileges like earning emotes to spice up the playing experience. All the elements stated above are things I heavily recommend a Battleground game should add, and without these elements a game could look dull. With all that being said, let's get into an element JJS appears to lack that made some people mad about my video. Animations. One thing that is heavily criticized about JJS is the fact that the animations aren't smooth, and looks janky. I honestly have to agree with that. The animations, like for example running, seem extremely weird and hard to get used to. You cover less distance with dashes and side dashes compared to other games, making everything feel compressed and out of place. Because animation are sometimes what drives people to play a game, many games work extremely hard on designing cool-looking abilities. For example, look at Choso's attack in Cursed Arena called Demon Claw. Even if the attacks don't look good to you, we must still acknowledge the fact that they really animated that whole segment with cool effects and stuff for a character. However, animation isn't enough to keep a game popular, and we'll talk about elements that Cursed Arena is missing later. But my main point is, smooth animations and cool effects is one of the elements people will look at in a game, and lacking it will get your game criticized. Therefore it is an important element. Our next element is going to be community. Some of you guys might be wondering what I mean by community. What I mean by that is how everyone that plays that game treats each other. Of course, we all know there's annoying people out there, like teamers, toxic people, kill stealers, you name it. Not everybody wants to log on to a game and deal with annoying players like the one I showed you in the beginning of the video. There are 2 games I want to bring up that help solve the community issues: JJS and Sorcerer Battlegrounds. JJS added a feature that ragdolls everyone when you're being teamed on. Of course, this isn't the best feature, but it does help a ton. I mean, what matters is the effort, right? Sorcerer Battleground attempts to fix the kill stealing issue by granting the play that did the most damage the kill. Most of these games try their best to fix their games, and I personally respect that. A game with a good community would promote more newer players to join and have fun, which is why I considered it an important thing that makes a Battlegrounds game good. Our next element is of course the most important part, the combat. Every single game ends up having their own unique fighting mechanics, and they have to whether they like it or not. This segment is generally gonna talk about the moves on characters, the M1S, and special things added to make combat more engaging. Most good combat games have moves that can eventually form together to create what's called a combo, which is just a series of M1S and abilities used to attack someone consistently. A character with moves that can easily form a combo are good, while characters with combos hard to pull off comes out as skilled. Combos make battling others much more engaging, and it feels great to pull off. Another thing I want to mention is M1S, or like basic punches. If they are smooth and look good, it can make battles more engaging and look cool. Take Garu from TSB for example. His fists glow blue from his fighting style, and that makes him unique and cool to use when you pull off intense and quick combos. Finally, the special mechanics. One very important special mechanic many Battleground games add is Ragdoll Cancel. It basically snaps you out of Ragdoll, very self-explanatory. However, there's one problem that's caused if ragdoll cancel and ragdoll waking isn't coded correctly.
Ragdoll Wake Up is easily the worst thing about the combat. It makes the combat go from very simplistic to a stunlock simulator since there's barely any super armor. This is like the most basic thing to get right in a game. No other actual good game has bullshit like this. It doesn't make sense. I don't see why you barely have any super armor. Most games have super armor to prevent you from being stunned at Wake Up, but not this one, I guess.
Any game who can't seem to get this right will result in players being constantly forced to use up ragdoll cancel to escape combos. Anyways, JJS did add other special combat mechanics, like our abilities, parkouring on buildings, and more. Combat mechanics are literally what makes a Battlegrounds game, so be sure to pay attention to them so you can make a great game. That being said, let's get into the final mechanic I believe makes a great game. Other mechanics. What I mean by special mechanics is like mechanics added to spice up your playing experience. For example, you can do this goofy run in Chakra Battlegrounds. JJS added wall parkour, Cursed Arena added bosses you can fight, which is all the footage I have of me doing in that game, etc. Many games will add these to make you want to play the game for longer. Special mechanics are actually surprisingly just as important as the other things I've shown. A good game that is good at all of those and strays farther than other games while following the basic format is destined for greatness. Now, it's time to wrap it all up. Don't want to force y'all to stay here for too long. To recap, a good Battlegrounds game should follow the generally basic format as their starting point. Good combat mechanics like combos and characters, outstanding animations for moves and other interactions, a healthy community, and adding other creative mechanics to a Battlegrounds game will indeed make it the best. Oh well. Hopefully you guys agreed with what I had to say. I believe those are very important points. Oh yeah, you probably want to base your Battleground game off of popular things, like Skibbity Toilet.